Yo, what's up, guys? What's happening? It is your boy. Welcome to another reaction. This one is called Three Babysitter Horror Stories, I believe. It has something to do with babysitters, and it is by MJV Animations. As you can tell, I should probably take off my shirt. I'm at work right now, doing the closing shift, so I figured I'd try and sneak one in right quick. I think it's like, I don't even know how long it is. Pause. I locked myself in the break room, so hopefully I have no interruptions. Let me just play it real quick. Oh, Too Unsettling Babysitter. 22 minutes. Alright. I have nothing to say. Other than I look like shit, but there's
This
nothing,
happened during
nothing new. Anyways, y'all ready for this? Leg out.
struggling years after high school. I was coming home from a friend's house. It was the end of the month and I wanted to save as much as possible. So, instead of taking a bus, I borrowed my friend's old bike for some days. I was riding down the empty road. The hazy streetlights and chirping crickets were my only companion. I was passing a closed pawn shop when my eyes went to an advertisement on the wall. I could read the heading as it was in bold and uppercase: Babysitter Wanted. I stopped and got down from my bike to take a better look at it. The advertisement was hung up recently and there was contact information at the bottom of it. I took a picture, thinking to call it after going home. I wasn't expecting to get it because I was sure someone might have already got it. But just to be completely sure, I dialed the number after reaching home. A woman picked up my call, and after a brief conversation, I got the job. She told me she works in real estate and has to go away on a 3-day trip. She has a 5-year-old son who needs to be taken care of in the meantime. She offered to pay me $600, which was enough to suffice for me for a month, maybe more. Without hesitation, I accepted the offer and went.
Wait, I probably like spaced out, but did they say for how long? I'm hearing shit. I think it's just the AC. All paranoid. Fuck. They probably... Whatever.
Bed with a ray of hope. The next morning, I woke up and started packing my bags to leave for my 3-day contractual babysitting. I shared the address with my friend just to be on the safe side. When the bus dropped me at the closest stop near my destination, I realized that I have entered the outskirts of the city. Paddy fields and small restaurants.
Hold up. I have to be on the lookout. I think I'm good.
Mountains were visible on the horizon. I turned on my GPS to locate the house. After walking for 10 minutes more, I finally reached a beautiful wooden house located at the top of a hill.
It's sus.
Even though the view was mesmerizing, I couldn't help but notice how secluded this area was. A sense of unknown fear lurked inside of me, thinking if I get in trouble here, no one will be able to help me. I rang the doorbell and waited on the porch.
Low-key, my aunt used to live in one of those houses that's like in the mountains in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it wasn't on the mountains per se. You just have to go up a dirt road, and that dirt road was kind of slanted going up. And yeah, she had her own house, pool, fucking rancho on the side. For those of y'all who don't know what it is, it's like a yard with animals. Yeah. It was cool as shit though. It was peaceful. It was far though. It was in Paris. I think one of my subscribers lives over there. Good times.
Footsteps took place on the other side, and a woman opened the door. "You must be Sarah? I'm Jessica. We talked over the phone. Please, come in." I nodded my head with an awkward smile and stepped inside the house. Jessica appeared to be in her late 30s. She had long brown hair and a sharp face. "You have a beautiful house," I said. She gave me a courteous smile and called out to her son. "Henry, come down. I have to go now." I heard footsteps speeding on the stairs. A cute little boy came down the stairs and sat down on the couch nearby. Henry, this is Sarah. She is going to look after you for the next 2 days, and I want you to listen to her, okay? Okay, Mama. Henry nodded his head and kept staring at me. I thought he was a shy kid. Jessica handed me $300 and said she'll pay me the rest after returning home. She then started loading her luggage into the car. Henry and I sat in the living room while she did all this. For a 2-day trip, she had an awful lot of bags stacked in her car. But I controlled my curiosity because it was none of my business anyways. There's enough food for you in the fridge. You can stay in the guest room on the left. Hope you have no further issues. Jessica waved goodbye to Henry, and her car slowly faded away from our sight. I locked the door and went to the guest room to keep my backpack there. I was arranging my clothes when Henry peeked in and immediately moved away. I chuckled and said, "You can come in." He slowly peeked again and finally gave me a cute little smile. I caressed his cheek and said, "Would you like something to eat? I can make pancakes." He nodded his head, and that's how our friendship began. With time, I understood Henry is not shy at all. We played hide and seek, made paper planes, and had fun the entire day. But as soon as night fell, the spooky silence surrounded the house. After dinner, I went to tuck him in his bed when he made a weird request. Henry looked at me with timid eyes.
Leave the light
said,
on.
"Can you sleep in my room with me?"
Oh, damn.
"Why? Are you scared of the dark?" "No, not the dark." "Then what is it?" "I don't like it when he visits me at night."
He?
"Who are you talking about?" "Mr. Googly Eyes." "What? Who's Mr. Googly Eyes?" "The man who walks the house after dark. He has really big eyes and an unhappy face." A cold shiver ran down my spine hearing this 5-year-old. There's no one in this house except me and him. What the hell is he talking about? I laughed it off, even though his words scared me a bit. I don't think Mr. Googly Eyes is real, Henry. There's no one in this house except me and you. I would have surely seen him if he tried to hide inside this house. He lives inside the jiggly bed in Mom's room. What? Just go to sleep. If I see Mr. Googly Eyes, I'll kick him out. Don't worry. I gave him a goodnight kiss and came out.
If I was to babysit a kid and he told me that, I don't think I would be able to go back outside like she's doing right now. I would have stayed in there with him and just see if just to see if he walked in the room. Maybe I would have got a weapon. I keep hearing shit outside. I'm not talking much with this because I'm trying to get it over with. Since, like I said, I'm at work, and I have to be since I'm doing a closing shift. Every time they sell a car, I have to wash it. I have to detail it. So that's why I have to keep an eye out if they sell one. But that's what I'm trying to do this quick.
At the long corridor leading to the stairs, I kind of froze for some time. The dim yellow lights of the dark passage created a spooky ambiance. I came downstairs and stood in the living room. The house was in complete silence.
Okay, that scared me.
The only sound that took place was the ticking of the big grandfather clock. Jessica's room was on the right side. I told myself that kids come up with all kinds of imaginative tales, and this story of Mr. Googly Eyes was nothing more than one of them. Still, something in the back of my mind kept telling me Henry wasn't lying to me. I didn't want to ruin my sleep pondering on the words of a 5-year-old, so without hesitating much, I went into Jessica's room to check for myself. As I opened the door, I saw a waterbed lying in the middle of the room. There was an almirah in the corner and a big mirror hanging from the wall. This room is way cleaner than the entire house. I could even smell the bleach and washing powder inside that room. I checked the entire room and became sure that no one was hiding here at all. I heaved a sigh of relief and went to bed. After a tiresome day, sleep fell on my eyelids in seconds.
She fell asleep in that same room. I mean, he wasn't specific, but and did they say lada bed or water bed? Which I haven't heard of lada bed or whatever they meant.
I don't remember how long I slept, but suddenly I felt a pull on my nightgown.
Fuck.
I opened my sleepy eyes and found no one. I turned aside just when I saw Henry standing near my bed.
Hey, that fool would have scared me too. Honestly, if I was her, after he just told me that somebody watches the house, I'm asleep, and all of a sudden somebody tugs me, I'd be scared just with that. And I look down and look at him.
Staring at me with a freaked out face. Jeez, you scared me.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you awake at this hour? He's walking in the house again. Who? Mr. Googly Eyes. When I was sleeping, he grabbed my feet. I don't want to go in my room. I realized he must have had a bad dream and freaked out like this. I got down from my bed and held his hand.
I'm surprised. Did his mom not know what was going on, or she probably didn't believe him? She probably thought it was his nightmare. Parents are so what's that? I don't even know what naive means, honestly. They're so like, I don't know. Every time a kid says something's wrong, like someone's watching them or whatever, the parents just brush it off, think it's kid's imagination. Should I know if my kid tells me that someone's watching her or some shit happens, I'm a believer. Hold up, I just heard a horn. I think I'm good.
Come, let's go see if he's still there. I'm sure you'll be long gone by now, and if he's still there, you can sleep with me, okay? Henry nodded his head, and we started walking upstairs.
Okay, if he is there, why are you guys just gonna go back to sleep? Why not do something about it?
I planned to tuck him into his bed after assuring him that there was no Mr. Googly Eyes in the house. We went upstairs. I walked into his room to find it empty. Look, Henry, there's no one here. Come on, go to bed. As I turned to look at him, I saw Henry standing outside the room, staring into the passage. His face was white as a sheet. What? What is it? I spoke from the room. He didn't move, didn't turn his eyes to look at me. He lifted his hand and pointed at the end of the passage. Mr. Googly Eyes is standing near the stairs. I got really angry with his sick imagination at the moment. I rushed to him, saying, "Oh, stop it, Henry! There's no Mr. Googly Eye!" But before I could finish, my eyes went to the end of the corridor, and the blood in my veins turned ice cold. A tall, scary figure was standing at the end of the passage. He had a furious face and wide, bloodshot eyes staring right at us. I have never seen such a scary person in my entire life. The man expanded his long, dirty fingers, and I could hear the cracking sounds of his bones.
Okay, low-key, his face is scary, but if he's that old where his bones crack or whatever, then you got nothing to worry about. You could take him on easily.
He pointed down the stairs and opened his big, hollow mouth. No sound came out, but his jaw started to expand horrifyingly. I screamed at the top of my lungs and stormed inside Henry's room, taking him with me. We couldn't sleep that entire night. I wanted to call 911, but what would I tell them? That there's a ghost walking around the house? Who would believe me? I decided to call Jessica in the morning and take Henry back to my place until she returns.
Wasn't it a person though? If you actually heard bones crackling, so it wasn't a ghost. I think they sold the car. Shit, I have to do this quick. Yeah. If it wasn't a ghost, what happened to him? Did he just leave? Obviously, you stayed up all night, so What happened with the dude?
But when the first ray of morning light entered Henry's room, I slowly opened the door and came out. We checked the entire house, and it was normal again. I called my friend to come pick us up, then dialed Jessica's number, but the calls went to her voicemail. I was waiting for my friend to arrive when Henry screamed once again. I turned back and saw him standing outside of Jessica's room with that same freaked out face from last night. "What is it, Henry?" I asked in a panic. He said with a sobbing voice, "Mr. Googly Eyes is inside the jiggly bed. He's trying to scare me again." I ran to her room because, as per my knowledge, ghosts never show up in the daylight. The room was empty like before, and I didn't see any trace of that scary man last night.
He said it was inside.
"He's not here, Henry." "Oh, he is! Can you see his eyes inside that bed?" I got up on that waterbed, and as soon as my weight fell upon it, I discovered the horrifying truth. The water inside it churned upside down, and a dead body appeared on its surface. Yes, there was a corpse inside that waterbed. God knows for how long it has been there.
So it is waterbed. Let's get that clear. So he is dead.
I didn't fail to recognize the face. It was indeed Mr. Googly Eyes. The cops were called, and the mystery unfolded. This man happened to be Jessica's boyfriend, with whom she scanned a client for a huge amount of money. But she wanted to have it all for herself, hence she killed the guy and stuffed his body inside her waterbed. I'm sure the murder took place in her room, which is why she... The day I arrived here, she wasn't leaving for a business trip. She eloped.
Ignore the text. I was screen recording this on my phone.
The cops are still looking for her, and Henry has been put in a foster home. The poor child doesn't know about what his mother did, but I am sure Mr. Googly Eyes is finally going to stop visiting him. This is a disturbing incident from my childhood that has ruined my life forever.
The first one, it was good. If I would have been in her shoes, I'd have been scared.
My parents worked a lot, hence I grew up under the watch of babysitters. They have never been the ideal couple. They spent most of their time outside the house to avoid any kind of confrontation. I, on the other hand, got used to it. I obviously felt lonely at times, but I soon realized they're better off this way. I don't know why they never got divorced in the first place. All of our lives would have been far better if they did. I was 12 years old when this happened. My mom was on a business trip, and it was just me and my dad. He came to pick me up from school. As I got in the car, he started the engine and asked, "So, how was school?" I replied in a morbid tone, "Like always."
Fuck. It's probably the same one, or they sold another car.
"Well, don't worry. School sucked in my days too."
It always sucks.
"Yeah, whatever." "Hey, you should cheer up, buddy. I'm sure it's not that bad."
I mean, I say that because I wasn't popular. I mean, I had my little group of friends and we'd just walk around, but popular? Nah. Like jock type of popular. Yeah. I feel like school would be cool, you know, if you had bitches. But if not, it was boring. But I feel like those type of people either dropped out. But then again, who knows? If you're a jock, doesn't that mean you play sports? And you need good grades to play sports. I don't know. Unless you had bitches and you had good grades, then school must have been dope.
My dad went on, and I rolled down the car window to stare outside. I became so aloof from my parents that I kind of stopped giving them any reaction. When my dad realized I'm not going to take part in this conversation, he stopped talking for a while. We were waiting on a signal when he made another initiative. "So, I was thinking if you'll be okay to stay home tonight. I have to meet a friend for work, and it's really..." "I'll be fine, Dad." I knew what he was going to say next, so I didn't wait for him to finish. He heaved a sigh of distress and remained silent for the rest of the ride. When we reached home, I went straight to my room. After an hour, my dad came in with a huge slice of pizza and sat next to me. I have fixed your dinner and called a babysitter for you. She'll take care of you until I come back. I don't need a babysitter.
How old is this dude?
I know. You are a grown man now, but your mom won't let me leave you all by yourself, buddy. I didn't argue, because I never interacted with my babysitters much. Most of them just laid on the couch while talking to their boyfriends and munching on our snacks.
Low key, for a babysitter, that'd be a chill ass job. But, I feel like moms are more strict with their kids. As with dads, they'll just be like, oh, do whatever you want. I know I would, but depends. Like, I don't know at what age my daughter won't need a babysitter or whatever. My kid won't need a babysitter anymore. I would say maybe like, well, when they're a teen, honestly. I was gonna say 14, 15. Because I felt around that time I was like, I knew how to take care of myself. I would say around teenage years. But then again, they do dumb shit.
I expected this one to be the same, but I was wrong about Amanda. When the doorbell rang, my dad called me downstairs. As I made my way to the living room, I heard my dad laughing like never before. It was the kind of laugh one gives when they are being praised. Stepping into the living room, I saw him standing near the door, all dressed up. He looked at me and said, "There he is! George, this is Amanda. She'll be babysitting you for the night. I don't want any complaints, so you better behave." This was the first time I met Amanda. She turned to me, and the first thing I noticed about her was her glassy blue eyes. There was something in her eyes that made her look immensely mysterious. She had a piercing stare that almost peeked into my soul. The oddest thing was the way she blinked, which she rarely did. From that very moment, I felt there was something off about her, but I kept it within myself. She came close to my face and said in a calm voice, "Hello, George. I hope we can be friends." I smiled awkwardly and stood there. My dad left in his car.
Like I just did right now. I feel like any adult that tells you that is kind of sus. Why would you want to be friends with a freaking however old he was? I'm sure he wasn't a teen, and I'm pretty sure she was older than 18. You weirdo.
And I turned back to go into my room. "George, wait!" "Yeah? Would you like to watch something with me? I can make you popcorn."
Nah.
Okay. The entire time we watched the movie, I got an uncanny feeling. I could tell Amanda stared at me through the corner of her eyes. After a point, it became overbearing for me. I am feeling sleepy. I'm gonna finish my dinner and go to bed." "Okay, I'll microwave it for you." Amanda got up and went to the kitchen. The entire time I ate my food, she sat in front of me with a really creepy smile. After finishing dinner, I went straight to my room and didn't come out until my dad returned. Around 10, when I heard his car pulling up in the driveway, I went near my room window. I saw Amanda coming out of the house. My dad paid her, but she still stood there chatting with him. My dad finally bid her goodnight and walked into the house. I watched her walking away when she suddenly stopped and looked directly at my window. I moved away quickly, but I knew she saw me. Since that night, Amanda became the first preference on the list of babysitters whenever my parents needed one. Even though she got along well with my dad, she hardly conversed with my mom. To be precise, she kind of ignored her, like my mom didn't even exist. With more time passing, I started to notice how strange she is. One afternoon, I was playing in our backyard while my parents were out. It was a Sunday, so they left me with Amanda. I was running to catch a butterfly when my neighbor's dog barked at me, and I lost balance out of sudden scare. I tripped over a rock and fell on my face. My chin got hurt, and blood rushed.
I think they need me. They gonna have to wait though.
Amanda took me inside and dressed my wound. After I felt a bit better, she looked at me and said, "Do you want to see something nice?" I nodded yes because I wanted to distract myself from the pain. She took some cookies from the kitchen and told me to follow her. We again went to the backyard and she started to call out to the neighbor's dog. The dog came rushing near the fence and started barking at us again. She walked close to it and threw a cookie. The dog stopped barking to sniff the cookie. As soon as the dog started eating, Amanda grabbed a rock from the ground and threw it at the dog's face, making it squeak in pain. The dog's one eye got smashed badly and blood poured like a waterfall from the wound.
Oh, damn.
She then turned to me and said, "Look, George, we're even now."
Yo, if she actually
I got
laughed
really
like that, she's
scared,
crazy.
and when my mom came home, I told her what Amanda did to our neighbor's dog. She yelled at her for her cruel behavior, and a brawl took place. My mom slammed her payment on the table and said, "I want you out of my house right now. Don't you ever dare to come near my son. You are crazy." Amanda's face got furious. She said in a creepy voice, "You didn't appoint me. Mr. Brown did. Keep your slutty money with you." "How dare you talk to me like that? Get the hell out of my house or I'll call the cops." Amanda stormed out of the house with furious anger. When my dad came back, my mom told him everything, and instead of taking proper precautions on this matter, they got into a fight. My mom blamed my dad for favoring Amanda way too much, and my dad defended himself, saying he had no idea that the girl was out of her mind. Along with this issue, the other problems regarding their marriage kicked in, and the fight just got bigger. My dad drank himself to sleep that night and passed out on the couch. I went to bed with a heavy heart and heard my mom's cry from her room. I was sure my parents are going to get divorced anytime soon. Tears rolled down my eyes for the first time as I couldn't tell my mom that Dad isn't the one to be blamed for Amanda's psychotic behavior. We all must have fallen asleep in our own damaged way when I heard a ruckus downstairs. I got up from my bed thinking my parents must have been fighting again. As I reached the living room, my heart stopped out of fear. It was Amanda. She was standing in our living room, grabbing my mom by the neck. Not just that, she was pointing a gun at her. Her face never looked this vicious before.
I don't know what time it was, but what is she still doing in the living room? I thought she was crying in her room. That's what you get.
Hatred was burning in her eyes, and my dad was begging her to let my mom go. "Please! You don't need to do this, Amanda!"
I thought he drank himself to sleep. Wouldn't that mean he'd be drunk, kind of? I don't know.
"I'll calm down. We can sort this matter out. Please let my wife go." "Your wife? She doesn't even love you. But I do. I loved you from the first day I met you. We just have to get rid of this skinny bitch, and then we can live as a happy family. I'll take good care of George. You won't be needing any more babysitters for him because I'll be the mom he deserves." Saying this, she hit my mom on the head with the metal end of the gun, and she screamed in pain.
Okay.
She started bleeding terribly, and my dad jumped to help her.
Yo, why am I loving this? This is like, it's okay. If I was a kid, yeah, it'll be scary. But me watching this is like, it's entertaining. You know, it's kind of mean to say, but
The three of them started to struggle, and my mom freed herself from her grasp. I screamed seeing this terrifying scene in front of my eyes, and a loud bang took place, and everything got silent. I saw my dad covered in blood, and my mom rushed to him screaming,
Somebody got shot.
"No!" But as he moved away, Amanda collapsed on the floor holding her chest and never woke up again.
Damn.
My dad is standing trial for the murder of my babysitter. My mom and I said everything to the jury about the worst night of our life. I told them how he never wanted to kill Amanda and it was all a collision of unfortunate events, but no one can deny the fact that my dad pulled the trigger accidentally that night, leading to the bullet pierced into Amanda's heart.
But
Our lawyer has fought really hard to prove him innocent, which my dad actually is. I hope they can see my dad as a victim of extreme circumstance and set him free.
these were actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That was just, he killed her on self-defense. Cause I mean, if he wouldn't have, what would she have done? One of them would have came out hurt or injured. Like the mom, she got whacked in the head. Whatever. Like I said, these two stories were pretty good. I enjoyed them. Well, like I said, I'm at work and I'm pretty sure they need me outside, so I'll make this shit quick. If you guys like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.